Good morning, all. Today I am discussing about float. So this is one of the important thing in the attendance CPM. So total float value, that is negative, zero, positive. Okay, there are three types of value. Float value is three types. One is negative, one is equal to zero, and one is positive. Suppose if the total float value is negative, so what is the meaning of it is resources are not adequate and activity may not finish in time. So what is the negative value of the float is indicating what are the resources you have to allocate that are not adequate uh, for activity, and also may not finish in time because you are not allocating the proper resources. Okay, so then ultimately it is not completed in the within the time. Okay, so you have to allocate proper resources. Then so induct extra resources or critical path needs crashing in order to reduce the negative float. Then there is a need of extra resources, and you have to give some extra resources. Or critical path needs, that means you need some, suppose the maximum time you have to know. Then crashing in order to reduce the negative float. Then you have to reduce the critical path, and you have to crash the critical path. That means you have to reduce the time, maximum time, in order to reduce the negative float. So you have to reduce the negative float. Then you have to crash the critical path. Okay, that is the one of the solution for this. Then you have to remove the negative float. Then if the total float value is zero, so resources are just sufficient to complete the activities or activity cannot be delayed. So without any delay, so you have to complete the process. That means what time you have to suppose they are giving, then at that time only you have to complete the task. Okay, suppose they are giving some 10 days, then you have to complete the work in the 10 days. So and also resources are just sufficient, okay, to complete the task. So then next positive, if the total float value is positive, then resources are extra. One has the freedom to reallocate the resources or the activity can be delayed by so much period. So if the float value is positive, that means that means it indicates where we have some extra time, and also you have to delay the process, and there is a free hand to utilize the resources, and also you have to reallocate the resources to some other activities also. Okay, so this is the meaning of float value. So whether it is a negative, the meaning of this, and zero and positive. Okay, negative, zero, positive. Then after that, so next one, determination of floats and slack times. How you determine the floats and its slack times? So when the network diagram is completely drawn, properly labeled, and earliest time and latest event times are computed, the next objective is to determine the floats. After you have to complete the, that means LST and EST, that is latest time and earliest time. Okay, so that what is the meaning of this is, so latest time means what time you have to complete the task. So then EST means already estimated time, at least suppose there is a given time. So depending upon that, you have to compute both of that. So LST and EST. So the next objective is to determine the floats. After you have to find the earliest time and the latest time, then you have to determine the floats and also slack times defined as follows. There are three kinds of floats are given below. So one is the total float. So the amount of time by which the completion of an activity could be delayed beyond the earliest expected completion time without affecting the overall project duration time. Suppose you have to compute the completion of an activity, the total time completion of activity could be delayed beyond the earliest expected completion. Suppose is there any delay uh, in the view of earliest expected completion time and without any affecting the overall project duration time. So it does not reflect, it does not affect on the overall completion time of the project or duration of the project. Okay. So in other words, total float of an activity. Okay. So in other words, total float of an activity is the difference between latest start time and the earliest start time of that activity. Okay. So it is the difference between latest start time and the earliest start time of that activity. Okay. So then total float equal to LST minus EST. So when then you have to find out the LST and EST. The difference in between the LST and EST is nothing but total float. Okay. So very simple formula. Then so it refers to the amount of free time. So total float, it refers to the amount of the free time associated with an activity, which can be used before, during, or after the performance of this activity. So when there is a free time, then you have to use that time to before or during or after of the after performance of the activity. This is the most important time or type of float because this is concerned with the overall project duration. Okay, so it is very important. So because it is concerned with the overall duration of the project. Okay, so then total float on critical activities is always taken as 0. For a critical activity, the total float is always taken as 0. The value of total floats for any activity is used for drawing the following conclusions. Okay, so based on this, there is a free float. So another type is free float. So the time by which the completion of an activity can be delayed beyond the earliest finished time without affecting the earliest start of a subsequent activity or succeeding activity. Okay, so the time by which the completion of an activity can be delayed beyond the earliest finish time without affecting the earliest start of a subsequent activity. Okay, so completion activity can be delayed beyond the earliest time without affecting the earliest start of the subsequent activity. That means it does not affect on the subsequent activity, that is succeeding activity. Suppose some A activity is there and B activity is there. Suppose uh, if suppose any problem, any deviations in the A activity, then it does not shows effect on the subsequent. That means it does not shows any effect on the B activity. Okay, so suppose the completion of the A activity does not show impact on the subsequent activity, that is the B activity. Okay, so the meaning of the free float is, so this is that value of the float which is consumable when the succeeding activities are started at their earliest starting times. Okay, that means free float equal to earliest time of head event minus earliest time of total event, tile event minus activity duration. Okay, so what is the meaning of this is just I draw a diagram for example. So suppose this is an event and this is an event. So this is activity A. Then after that, some other event is there. Then this is activity B. Okay. So what is the, suppose the time duration is, suppose this taken from 2 minutes and this will be taken some 3 minutes. That means the time duration of the A activity is 2 minutes and the time duration of the activity B is 3 minutes. Okay, so then what is the meaning of this? Okay, so the time by suppose the completion time of the A activity does not show any impact on the activity B. Okay, so suppose is there any delay in this activity, it does not reflect any changes in the subsequent activity, that is the succeeding activity. So A is the predecessor activity and B is the successor activity. Okay, so after completing the A, then you have to start the B. So that's why B is the succeeding activity. Okay, so it is derived from after completion of A. Okay, so this is that value of the float which is consumable when the succeeding activities are started at their earliest starting times. Okay, so then there is a free float. Then how you are EST of head event, that means earliest time of head event. There is, suppose earliest time of the head event is some 2. So suppose the earliest time of trial event is some 1, then 2 minus 1. Okay, so minus what is the activity duration? 2. Okay, so the activity duration is 2. Okay, 2 minus 1 minus 2. So like this, so the values are higher than, suppose just for example I had to take, so the value of this is nothing but called as free float. Okay, suppose you are getting a negative value, then depending upon that, the resources are not properly allocated, and also the project is not completed in the within the time. Okay, so we know the meaning. Okay, right. Then and then next one is, then next one is independent float. Okay, so what is the meaning of independent float is the amount of the time by which the start of an activity can be delayed without affecting the earliest start time of any immediately following activities, assuming that the preceding activity has finished at latest finishing time. Okay, so the predecessor activity is completing at is latest finishing time. So what is already what time you have to find out already, that is the LST latest time. Then it is completed in that within the time. Okay, what I have to specify in the finishing time, in that time, at that time it is completed. So the amount of time by which the start of an activity can be delayed without affecting the earliest start time of any immediately following activities. So it does not impact on the earliest start time. Before that, there is a difference, different meaning. So it does not affect in the earliest finishing time, but in that earliest start time. Okay, so it does not shows impact on the earliest start time of any immediately following act. That is also nothing but successor activity. So every activity has some true times, earliest time and latest time. So before that, that is the earliest time. That is the earliest time. That is finishing. Okay, earliest finishing time. This is earliest starting time. That is the difference. So then independent float equal to EST of head event minus LFT of tail event minus activity duration. Okay, that is the uh, formula of independent float. Then next one is the slack of an event. Okay, so the basic difference between slack and float times is that slack is used for events only, whereas float is applied for activities. Okay, so the slack is used only for, whereas float is applied for activities. Where the float is applied for the activities, then only we are using a slack. For any given event, the event slack is defined as the difference between the latest event and the earliest event times. So what is the difference between the LST minus EST? So the difference is nothing but slack at every phase. Okay, suppose if suppose, so this is one activity, this is one event, and this is one event, and this is also one event. Suppose there is a LST 3, LST, this is LST, and this is the EST. Suppose EST is some 5. Okay, so then the difference in between the LFT, suppose this is the first event, so then this is the second event, that is 3 and 4. Okay, suppose this is the LST of this event, this is the EST of this event, L and E. Okay, so head event EST, what is the head event EST? So 5. Okay, this is the head event, and what is the EST? 5. Then what is the LFT of trail event? So LFT of the trail event is, this is the LFT of the tail event. This is the tail event because this is the activity is started. So LFT is 3. So 5 minus 3 equal to 2. This is the slack of an event. Okay. So this is the slack of an event. Okay. Right. Then how we are calculating the critical path? Okay. So critical path, that is critical path means the total the highest time which is take to complete the project, that is nothing but called as critical path, the maximum time. So then we are explaining some example. So how we are calculating the critical path. So a small engineering project consists of 6 activities, namely A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay, so A, B, C, D, E, F. These are the 6 activities are done. So these are the 6 activities are done. So then preceding activity A. So what is the preceding activity of B is A, and what is the preceding activity of C is B. That means before. After A, then there is a D activity. That's the meaning of that is. Okay. So before, that means the preceding activity of D is A, and preceding activity of E is B, and preceding activity of the C is F. So then the time duration of that each and every activity is A4, for B6, and for C B5, and for D4, and for E3, and for F3. Okay. So then how we are draw a network diagram, then you have to follow the rules. Okay. So already we are discussing the rules. There is no looping, there is no dangling, and there is no uh, there is no unnecessarily using of the dummy activity. So you have to follow all these rules. Then follow these rules. Then you have to construct the network diagram. Okay. So what is the previous activity of A? There is no activity before A. That means that is a starting activity. Okay. So this is the event. So you are giving the numbers 1. So then this is the activity A. Okay. So what is the value of A is 4. Okay. So then after that, how you construct the network diagram, then you have to follow this one. Then after that, the preceding activity of A is B. Okay. So sorry, the preceding activity of B is A. So then this is another event. Then from A, there is another activity called as B. The value of B is 6. Then after that, the preceding activity of B is, C is B. Then there is another event you have to take. Then there is a C, activity C. The value of C is 5. Okay. So after that, A, from A, there is another activity D. Okay, this is the A. Then this is the D. Okay. So like this. That means okay. So this is another event. The activity named as D. The duration of the D is 4. The time duration of the D is 4. So I am not in a comfortable way. I am not drawing in a comfortable way because it does not support. So with mouse I am drawing this one. So please cooperate. So this is second event, and this is the third event, and this is the fourth event. Okay. So then you are giving the numbers to events also. Okay. So then after that, the activity is preceded by D. So then from this, you have to draw another event. So the activity is E. So what is the time duration of the E is 3. So from C and E, okay, from C and E, so there is another activity. So there is a F. Okay. So So from C and E, okay. So I have to combine both of them. So I done wrong something. So you have to remove this part. Okay. So then from C and E, okay. So from C and E, this is the C and this is the E. After that, I have to combine both of them directly. Okay. So you have to combine them, both of them, and there is another activity. This one. Okay. So again, I write the diagram. Just wait. So first you have to follow these things. Okay. So you are keenly observe. So this is first event. So then that is A. So now I'm getting we are getting a clarity. So then so after that B activity. This is the B activity. Then after that from B there is a C. So the name activity name is C. Then from A there is a D. Okay, from D there is a E. Then C and this is the C and this is the E. Then you have to combine both of them. Then finally you are getting E. F together. F. Okay. From C and E there is a, because the preceding activities are for F is C E. That's why this is the C, this is the E. Okay, so you have to combine both of them with the event, merged event. So finally there is an F. Okay, so the duration of the E. Okay, so you have to indicate with the time duration. So in this way you have to construct the letter diagram. So you have to follow all these rules. So just like this. Okay, so the solution is like this: 1 to 2 there is an A, and 2 to 3 that is B, and 2 to 4 that is D, and from B there is a C, and from E there is a D, from there is an E. So we have to combine both of them. Then that is CE are combined into F, then last activity. So the total number of activities are 6. Okay. So we are also following this. So this one, just like, okay, right. So this is an attack diagram we have to construct. So according to this one, okay. So based on this one, so for A, there is no preceding activity. That's why we are starting with this. Then after that, from A there is an activity B, and next from B we are C. Preceding activity is C. Suppose the preceding for the activity C, there is a preceding activity is B. So then we are deriving C from the B. Then after that, from A, there is a D. So because for D, there is a preceding activity A. For E, there is a preceding activity D. So then this is the D. We are deriving next activity, E activity, like this. So then we are combining both of them because CE, the combination of CE is F. Then this is the CE, the combination. There is a event. So then we have to, from this CE combination, we are getting the F, because the C and D, E, C and ER are the both are the concurrent activities. Okay, then you have to merge it with one activity, sorry, one event. Then you are getting the activity F. The ending point of the event project is 6. So it is the start, 1 is the starting point and 6 is the ending point. What is the time durations for A4, for B6, and for D4, and for C5, and for E3, and for F3. So you have to total all these things: 0 plus 4, 4, 4 plus 8. Okay, so I have to find 4 plus 6, some value 10. So then 4 plus 6, 10, 10 plus 5. Okay, so 4 plus 6, 10. So 6 plus Okay, 10, 10 plus 5, 15, 15 plus 3, 18. Okay, so then you have to find out the critical path. So how you are can find out the critical path? First you have to uh, write all the paths. Suppose from starting point to ending point, how you are go to the ending point. So from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4, 5 to 6. This is the one path. Okay, to reach the end point. 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 5, 5 to 6. The meaning of this 1 to 2 is A. Okay. So 2 to 3 is B. 3 to 5 is 3 to 5 is C. And 5 to 6 is F. It is one path. Okay. So another path is 1 to 2. So 2 to 4, 4 to 5, 5 to 6. So you have to write down all the paths in this manner. Then only you have to find out the critical path. Okay. So because if you have a big diagram, that is a critical one, but there is no another way. So you have to write down all the paths. Okay. Then 1 to 2 means A, 2 to 4 means D, 4 to 5 means C, 5 to 6 means F. So then you have to find out the critical path. So what is the time duration of the A for first one? That is 4 plus for B value is 6, 6 plus value of C is 5, value of F is 3. 4 plus 6 equal to 10 plus 5 plus 3, that is 18. Okay, the value of first path is. And second path, so for A value is 4, value of D is 4, value of E is 3, value of F is 3. So 4 plus 4 plus 8, 8 plus 3, 11, 11 plus 3, 14. Okay, only two paths are there. We are find out the values of each and every path. So the total value of that path. So for ABCF is 18, for ADEF is 14. So which one is the highest value? So 18 is the highest value. So critical path is nothing but the maximum time of time duration of the project. Then that is nothing. Then the 18 is the maximum value from these two. So finally, the total project duration time is 18 days. That's why we are indicating this route with double arrow. That means it is a critical path. Okay. So why they are using double arrows is that indicates critical path. Okay. So then we are only this is the LST, EST. This is EST, LST. This is EST and LST. This one is EST and so EST, LFT. Okay. So this is the earliest time. This is the latest time. So this is the latest earliest time. This is the latest time of this event. And this is the earliest time and this is the latest time of this event. And this is the earliest of the this event and LFT of this because starting point is 0, 0. So in this way, I have to compute the critical path of diagram. Okay, so that means it indicates the total duration of the project. Okay, so it indicates the total duration of the project. How many days you have maximum time you have to take to complete this project? That is nothing but the critical path. Okay, so critical path is very, very important for constructing a suppose to find out the optimistic time. Suppose that means when you are completing this project exactly. then there is a need of critical path. Without critical path, we are unable to complete the project management. That means PET and CPM. Okay, so that is very, very important. So in this way, you have to find out the critical path. Okay, so I think all of you able this, and I think all of you understand this concept. So first you have to construct the network diagram in this way. So already I am showing. So in this way, you have to construct the network diagram. Then after that, you have to note the time duration values of the each and every activity. Then after that, you have to write down the paths of paths, all the paths are the which are there in the network diagram. Then you have to total the time durations of the each and every activity. Then finally, you are getting the value. So from all the alternative paths, then you have to find out the highest value, which one has the highest value. Then you have to select that one, choose that one. Then that is nothing but critical path. Okay, that is nothing but critical path. Okay, so the time duration, critical path is nothing but the total time duration of the project, which is the maximum time. Okay, so within this time you have to complete the project. Suppose if you are unable to complete this project within this time also, then your performance is very, very poor. It shows your performance is very, very poor, because this is the maximum time you have to take compute. Okay, 18 days is the maximum time, but within this time only you have to complete this project, but you are unable to complete this project within this time, then you are not doing well. Okay, so it shows uh, our performance, the performance of the organization or the performance of the team which are not in the project, there is not up to mark, they are not doing well. Okay, so you have to remember this thing. Okay, so this is the purpose of critical path. Okay, what is the use of this critical path is you have to compute the maximum time of the project completion. So then you know about suppose if there is some 10 projects are coming simultaneously, then you have to choose which one is suitable for our organization with the use of PET and CPM only. Okay, so right. So today I stopped over here.